Now, obviously, a big headline today following Game 7 of the NBA Finals, the Oklahoma City Thunder win, and we get confirmation of the news that we thought was happening yesterday during the game because, ESPN showed the replay 500,000 times just in case you couldn't tell. Here's Tyrese Haliburton blowing his Achilles. In case you missed the first 5, yeah, you see it right there. Yeah, okay, you got it. Got it. We got it.
Well, but to their credit, I mean, they recognize that people suddenly realize that Game 7 was being played.
Yeah.
And, if they're going to trumpet all of those viewers, they're always tuning in. Mm-hmm. The audience continues to change after every 100%. TV timeout. Hey, in case you missed it, this is where we stand.
Now, I'm going to say this because I generally don't feel that when a guy is injured – you look at a game and say, okay, this game would have gone differently. This game could have done this way. Because obviously Haliburton getting hurt in the first half. The Thunder go on to win. And the big question, obviously, the first one is, okay, if Haliburton hadn't gotten hurt, right? If Haliburton had been able to play the whole game, is it a different outcome yesterday? And generally, when comes times I say, well, it doesn't matter because this is what happened and the Thunder won and they did. But I look at that game yesterday, I was just so unimpressed with the Thunder closing this game the way they did in Game 7. Sure. It was one of the worst Game 7. I don't know a team has won a Game 7 with a worse performance than the Thunder had. They shot poorly. They didn't really look really sharp offensively at all. SGA had a horrible game shooting, almost like the nerves got to them. They tried to close out Game 6, didn't have it, tried to close out Game 7. It just so happened that the Pacers are playing a game now. Okay, now you've taken one of our top 2 best players and a guy who's going to have the ball the majority of the time away. What's going to happen? This should have been a game where when Haliburton goes out, it should have been a 10-point lead at halftime for Oklahoma City. It should have been a 25-point lead, and it should have been middle of the fourth quarter. Everybody's yelling at each other on the bench, and reserves are hitting 3. But they were just so unimpressive. And this is the worst part for the Pacers because they have to see that and go, man, if he didn't get hurt, what would have happened? I'll tell you, if Haliburton stays in the game, the Pacers win. The Pacers, the world champions, because that game was going a very Pacers way, right? You were at halftime. Still, even without Haliburton at the end, it's a 1-point game, and the Pacers had the lead. The Pacers, this is kind of what they did the entire playoff. No matter what happened, they are always able to stay close enough to reel you in before they could get at you in the third and fourth quarter, right? Because that's really what the Pacers would always do, right? Their pace would get to you, the stars would tire in the fourth quarter, and by the time you got to middle third, fourth quarter, guys are a little bit more open for their threes, a little bit more, offense is flowing a little bit more, and we've seen that the entire playoff. That's what would have happened if Haliburton hadn't gotten it. Yes, you had a big night from Mathurin off the bench, of course. We've seen that. Big night from McConnell off the bench. But it's a different flow to the offense when Haliburton is running things in his helter-skelter way and being able to get in and come back out and find players. This game was going the Pacers' way. They were keeping it close. They were playing their pace. They were imparting their will on the game. They started out shooting threes pretty well. Mm-hmm. They wound up not being able to hit anything in the second half. But this game was really going the Pacers' way. And then at halftime, okay, the Thunder come out in the third with a big run. But at this point, it was, all right, what are the Pacers really going to do? We know that you're limited, and without this happening, we know you're not going to hit your threes. We know you're not going to, as good a player as McConnell is, he's not going to be someone who finds players wide open shots like Haliburton does. That's not going to be a part of what this offense is in the second half. So yeah, in the third quarter they go out and they're up big, and then the Pacers come back and they make it a close game midway through the fourth quarter. I mean, I'm watching this, I'm saying, if Haliburton's here, this game goes a different way, and as the second half goes on, the game would start tilting towards the Pacers and their pace of play, and you would see the Thunder getting tired, and suddenly it's a big question mark and a little bit of choking going on. Hey, we're not closing out this game at home. We have the best home court advantage in the NBA. SGA's not making shots. This game would have gone the Pacers' way. We'd be talking about the most improbable NBA championship that we've seen probably since the Pistons beat the Lakers back in 2003. Like that, or 2004.
Hey, too soon.
Oh, sorry, man. Sorry. This would be talking about that if Haliburton didn't get hurt. That's how that game was going today.
No, but that's just it. Watching that game unfold, and certainly something we talked about a lot with Haliburton and the injury and thresholds for pain, discomfort, and how serious it was in terms of minutes played and how he looked going back to Game 6, and he comes out like a house of fire, nails three-point shots very early. The running joke in the Twitterverse immediately was like, wow, he's already cashed the over for all these people with their 3-point prop bets. McConnell, great at getting his own shot. Not a great distributor. For the game, Nembhard is your leader with 6 assists, so not a lot of moving the ball around to the open man once Haliburton's out of the game. So certainly it bogs down there. For the Thunder side of things, yeah, they shot 40%. So Indiana's defense did his job, missing a number of wide open looks. I can't tell you the number of times you're throwing your hands up going, he's standing by himself. He's basically, he could pull out any type of scientific implement to calculate angles, and he's still missing the shot. That's how much space you had. Lou Dort, the most accounted for participant in that regard. But all of it to say, right, Chet Holmgren finally played a big game for them, came up with a number of blocks, defensive stops, but it did feel like the game was still there to be had. If you could have made one stop here, kept SGA off the foul stripe, right? He got to the line 12 times over the course of the game, and that's where he imparted, and part of your prediction did come true, and that he lived at the free throw line at times. Mm-hmm. But for Indiana and for Carlisle, there were only so many strings he could pull once Haliburton went down. You got big efforts from McConnell. I mean, Alex Caruso had to be stopped in the interview. Hey, how do you stop T.J. McConnell? Did you ever think you'd get that question?
Yeah, how do you stop T.J. McConnell?
How do you stop T.J. McConnell?
Yeah.
And the look on his face like, wow, okay. And Mathurin showed up in a big way. He'd had 17 points combined his prior 3 games, right? So all of that you got that effort, but in the end, it's just not enough, and Oklahoma City walks away with the title. And it's funny because all throughout the playoffs, through the regular season, it became a, wow, look at they've got the blueprint and all this, and now we're watching them walk away with the title going, I'm not impressed.
Yeah.
And we watched a lot of their games, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, they were on a lot, and we got a lot of windows, but you come away going, wow, they had a lot of issues that could have been exploited if you had your playmaker.
I'm telling you, and that's added heartbreak. If Haliburton was healthy and he played a regular game, we're talking about the Pacers being the champions. It would have happened that way.
I just wanted to see what kind of defensive structure Carlisle would have had for the fourth if he had all 5 of his normal starters.